The fastest show in sports.
I'm actually looking forward to this series between Indiana and Oklahoma City. But I'm honest with you, again, outside of Halliburton and a few others, I'm not that up on a lot of the players. I could not tell you who the stars are, but I think it's going to be a really good series. I'm looking forward to it. And every one of these clown shits who are out there screaming that the ratings are going to suck and the NBA's worried, shut up. You have no idea what you're talking about. The NBA doesn't care because with platforms now and social media platforms and everything's being seen on phones and being seen on computers and being seen everywhere else, ratings are not a big deal anymore. So I think it's going to do just fine. But I'm actually looking forward to it.
The people who are saying the people who are saying that this series is going to suck or that it's not going to be a ratings win, those are old timers or only big market people. B, young kids who only want to see LeBron or Steph. Or some of those guys. This series is actually going to be some of the best basketball. And if you actually really want to dive deeper, this is going to be one hell of a chess match. Can Oklahoma City's defense match up, or how does Oklahoma City's defense match up and stop Indiana's offense, or vice versa? How can Indiana attack that Oklahoma City defense? That's my opinion. This is going to be a hell of a series. If I were still doing ESPN radio and hosting this, I'd be loving this series.
Yeah, I think Kevin should do this professionally again. This is he's spot on. He's spot on that. Look, anytime you put New York or LA or Boston, or if Chicago had a big name player, or in the NBA Finals, you've got a bump and all these things. But you're right. If a network partnership deal has been signed, and one has with NBC, it doesn't matter. They're not trying to grow their brand after they just signed a TV deal. They'd like to, and I don't know if those numbers matter as much, but I think, look, if this postseason has shown anything, it's really the changing of the guard. The torch has been passed. All these new stars, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams for Oklahoma City, just an incredible player. I think if you put him on like one of 5 teams, they would be in the finals. Halliburton is, Siakam people know from Toronto, but Halliburton, he's going to be on an NBA Finals stage for the first time. That's a big deal. I mean, the casual viewer is going to tune in, and they're going to see a player that's got hang time like Dr. J at one point, and a guy who can shoot and is a fun guy. Like, for instance, I used to cover the Knicks Pacers series, and, Reggie Miller he would talk to you and he was professional, but he would admit, like anybody else, he was a stone cold killer and a bit of a dick to everybody. Halliburton's killing everybody, and he's just a nice guy. He's fun, and he just seems likable. And so that's one thing. And I think if I really look at it, I just think, yeah, you're right. Steph was out early. LeBron and Luka's not only 25, but is out early. Giannis, Ben Simmons never made it to the post. Joel Embiid didn't even make it to the postseason this year. Kevin Durant didn't make it to the postseason. So you have all these guys, the Anthony Edwards. You have SGA, you have Halliburton. I mean, Brunson for that matter. All these guys under 30, they're just starting to hit their primes. That's what the NBA needs right now, a shot of fuel-injected fun that isn't the old guys, because these guys, they're not going to be around forever.
Okay, now there's 2 things that you opened up there, and we'll take them one at a time, but I have 2 issues with all this. First of all, it seems the NBA has finally come into a new era where we no longer have the knucklehead, where we had the player who was the arrogant asshole, who was creating problems on the court, off the court, and the kind of people who would help to destroy the brand that the NBA was creating. We seem to have turned the corner with better, smarter, younger players who get it now. The second part of it is, and we'll get to this too, is knowing, as what you both said, that Indiana and Oklahoma City make the best finals, How do you make that average fan, just the casual fan, the person who is not engrossed in the NBA, how do you make them care about this series? Because let's get to it, because you have to have a player you care about, a city you care about, something that you really want to get involved in, a storyline. And I don't see a lot of continuing storylines that come out of Indiana and Oklahoma City that will grab somebody and make them say, I got to see this. This is must-watch television.
So, let me jump in, Mike, and you can try to back me up or take a different direction. You're looking at I don't think you can take a fan if they're just going to stumble upon the game. If that's all they're going to do, you need a hope. Your hope is that the game is so compelling and so entertaining.
That's a hook. That's the hook you need.
Hang on, but that's not a hook you control, right? That's not a hook you control as an advertiser, as a marketer. You're reliant on the players to do it, but that's the biggest hook. You need game one. Your best avenue for this series is all 5 games are decided within 5 points. Doesn't matter if it's a 4-1 series win, right? If it goes longer, great. But you need every game tight. The one thing you cannot have are the blowouts. Because, Mike, I've watched for so many times now in these series, teams in especially game 7s, the Clippers let go of the friggin' rope against the Denver Nuggets. Game 7 is the be-all and end-all to watch sports, isn't it, guys?
But but can't you say that about every single series? You can't have a blowout. If you have a blowout, people are leaving. People are going somewhere else because they have 197 channels to look at right now. Yep. So even if you're into it, a blowout, you're out of there. So we got to shove that aside right here. You still have that hook. What is that hook? Right now,
I think
the series or whatever that will get people to watch.
Well, but storylines, like what was storylines? What are you going to do?
What are they?
I mean, it's certainly not the culinary cuisine of both towns. I mean, Steak and Shake and frickin' Spaghetti Factory. Get the fuck out. Excuse my French.
Like, to all of our friends who are going to sponsor us who are in Oklahoma and in Indiana, thank you so much. Please don't pay any attention to Mike. We still want your advertising dollars, and we'll still eat at your restaurant. Except if you're Steak and Shake, I won't.
I mean, these hayseed moonshine sipping. No, I'm kidding. I mean that because the bottom line is, having spent a lot of time in Indiana during the playoffs in years past, I actually like the town. It's like I mean, not only do you have like St. Elmo's, which is famous for its extra spicy cocktail shrimp, but there's some nice restaurants. I haven't spent enough time in OKC. No, that's not true. I've spent enough time in OKC, but I gotta think that there's gonna be some there's gonna be some decent fanfare. Here's the thing.
Pick one. Wait a minute, Mike. Just pick one.
Greg Papa. Well, let's take out the narratives. Like, you've got two teams, one of which is going to win a first ever NBA title. That's huge for a local fan base. Those are two of the loudest arenas on the planet right now, for good reason. Oklahoma City is beyond loud. The last time I was there, and it's just, you can't, that translates onto television sometimes. And Secondly, you're going to see a couple stars that you haven't seen before. You're going to see a little bit of a freak show in Chet Holmgren, a 7-footer who probably weighs 150 pounds soaking wet, and yet is like Ralph Sampson. He can spin, he can twirl. He's just got he's like the Fantastic Four elongated arms guy. And so I guess what I'm getting at is you're going to see some players that haven't been on the national stage.
Richards, in case you're wondering, that's Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards. Okay, it's not the stretching guy.
That was a very good comic book. But okay, so I guess what I'm getting at is, to Kevin's point, like Greg Papa, one of the announcers in the Bay Area a long time ago. I remember watching this when I was still trying to get a job at a good paper. I'm watching him, and I guess it was Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullen, and Mitch Richmond, and they were just Run TMC. They called them, and it was this game that was just like so anti-90s or 80 whatever, and it was just like so much fun. Basketball was up and down. And at some point, Greg Papa goes, if you don't like this game, you don't like basketball. No, 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 you don't like sports. And I think there's something to that. Like if you are watching a compelling event and you know sports at all, I think that brings in the viewers. You're right. I think
Okay.
the spread is like 10 or 11 points for the first game. If
Yeah,
Oklahoma's
9.5.
in control all the way, that is a ratings killer off the bat. But if Indiana surprises them, which I think they will in game one, I don't know if they win, but I
Yes.
think it's a good game because Minnesota laid down in the last game. Minnesota should have given them a much better series. The Pacers, except for the last third quarter of Game 6, I mean that was this whole postseason. Ed, has been compelling hoops. I hate to say it, but the 20 point
it's okay that you
comebacks.
can say it. I only have one
It's been
question I need to
amazing.
have answered.
Like
Wait,
the
wait
NBA
a minute, hang on.
postseason has been amazing this year.
There's
Right.
one question that needs to be answered here. Kevin, did you just belch live on the air?
No, I did not. I promise you, I did not.
Are you sure?
I'm positive I did not.
Because I could swear that I
will,
heard a
if you
belch.
want, I will.
Okay.
No, I would have told you I belched.
No. Okay.
I
That's
actually,
fine.
I actually would have went. Oh crap!
Okay.
I
That's
would've
good.
covered it.
I'm just making sure, seeing as this is
That's
live broadcast. That's all.
I know that's right. Hey, back to you.
Back to
you asked
reality.
For a hook, right? Back to reality. Back to the topic at hand. You asked for a hook.
Okay.
I think a great hook. You can sell the fact can SGA, who is now arguably the face of the league, he's this year's MVP. Can Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the point guard for Oklahoma City, for those of you who don't know, number 2 in blue or white that you're going to see starting on Thursday night, can he get his first championship? Can he become that next superstar? The counter for Indiana, this is where it gets a little dicey. Their superstar, and I threw up air quotes there, their next guy, their lead dog is Tyrese Halliburton. The question is Tyrese Halliburton an actual bona fide superstar in the league? Because remember, he was riding pine in the Olympics with Jason Tatum. So out of 12 guys who went to the Olympics last year, Halliburton was 12th. I don't think that poor kid ever saw the court in any of the games in Paris. And he still got his gold. So people don't necessarily view Hallie as an actual superstar. He's just a star on a good team that is now in the NBA Finals. So the question is that a hook that will catch people?
I forgot that.
I mean, that's a pretty good hook, actually.
That,
You got a storyline.
I forgot that Tyrese Halliburton was on the Olympic team. That's actually he was like he was Christian.
There you go.
He was basically Christian. He was Christian Laettner on that team. You know, like what are you doing? That's a very good point. I don't know. Like if we're such a now society now that. The last few weeks, I mean, unless you haven't watched the NBA playoffs, oh my God, like Halliburton has been unbelievable. I think he has ascended that star platform. But you're right, you got to do it in the finals to make people last and believe it. And I think that's a valid argument. I also think go ahead.
No,
I was going to say. Okay, go ahead. You were going to say another
How about this,
narrative.
Guys?
Go ahead.
How about this? Ready? Team basketball. Both of these teams play team basketball. Yeah, they're reliant on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to score 40, and he did. But when Oklahoma City's humming, they have like 3 or 4 guys who are averaging over 20. Team basketball. Celtics last year won the chip playing team basketball. And that's a dangerous hook, because that doesn't get sold as much in this day and age as the individual star. But this is a team basketball finals for both of these, for both the Pacers, especially the Pacers, but even Oklahoma City.
See, there's 2 things here that, and again, we're going off on tangents, but let's go ahead and stay here right now. I do believe that Indiana versus Oklahoma City is absolutely the best thing that could happen to the NBA. Period. End of story. We've discussed this. We've kind of glossed over this in the last few weeks, but there is no LeBron James. There is no Steph Curry. There is no nonsense coming in here. There's none of the old guard that's sitting here. It's a great thing for the NBA. That's why everybody who screams that the ratings are going to be a problem because the stars aren't there, We've just talked about it. The stars are there, but they're new stars.
Yeah,
and
but
you gotta
let's
get
but let's
used to
be
them,
let's
and
be
that's why
Ed,
it's good for the
let's be
NBA. They're opening up a new era
yeah, but
and new players.
let's be clear. The best thing for the NBA is if Tyrese Halliburton were a Laker, uh, and SGA were a Celtic
See,
or a
but that's
Knick.
falling back
I mean,
on the same old dogma.
like,
We're
let's
going
be
back to
honest.
that again.
The big markets, from Kingdom Come. The NBA has been ruled by about 6 teams. It's never hurt the
Yes.
ratings that the fact that the
But
monster teams.
that's
But
the-
you're right.
that's the
We need new
point.
stars. And okay, here's to your point, and I will back you up on this. The Sacramento Kings were an outpost. I mean, an NBA outpost for years. You didn't want to
Yeah.
go there as a player. You didn't want to play there as a player. You didn't, as a fan, you were like disenchanted. When Chris Webber, Jason Williams, and then after Jason, Mike Bibby, and Peja Stojakovic and Vlade Divac started moving the ball around, and you had all these fun players that like were pieces that fit to the part, and that whole cliche of sublime choreography of teamwork that is basketball. That happened. Oh my God, Sacramento Kings became the most popular team in the NBA. The only thing, I think Shaq and Kobe and the Lakers were the only thing that sold more jerseys than them for a while.
Well, see, but that comes down,
So
and
you're
you
right.
mentioned big cities. You will
Yep.
always sell tickets for the Knicks, for the Lakers, for the Bulls, for the Miami Heat, for Dallas. You don't have to worry about these markets. Though, even you could, if Miami or LA doesn't hit the playoffs for 5 straight seasons, they will still sell out.
coming
If
back.
not, they'll come real close. So will the New York
Right.
Knicks, because it's that kind of an event. So you have these smaller teams, which are smaller cities, Indiana and Oklahoma City. Hell yeah. Build them up. Make them something big. That's why it's the best thing in the world not to have these big teams there. The NBA has reached a point, guys, where they don't need LeBron James. They don't need
Nope.
the Knicks to win the championship anymore, because now you've got all these great stories, and I think Kevin hit him on the nose with all the different stories that are now here. That becomes appointment viewing. Even if you're not a basketball fan, you want to see what happens.
Are you saying, Ed? Are you saying that Kevin Durant and LeBron James need the NBA more than it needs them?
Yes.
Ed, that's a clip right there. Post that clip.
It is a clip. Hang on. And Mike, you brought it up as well. You mentioned something earlier about what's best for the NBA, right? What's best for the NBA now is to probably have 3 or 4 finals from here going forward where you have new blood in the finals.
Bingo.
Where you've got new stars. So for instance, let's go where next year, Anthony Edwards is in the finals. The year after that, you had Luka last year. Luka and the Celtics. Boston hadn't been in a couple of years. Boston's been in twice in 3. Luka and the Celtics. Now you can create all these new personalities and get some of these stars that we watched play in Paris a year ago that get on that big stage. Now put them in this team setting for the NBA where you're playing for the Larry O and you're playing for the chip. Do that for the next 3 or 4 years and just get a couple of different varieties. That's what's best for the NBA. But it's anti-David Stern, isn't it? It's absolutely anti-David Stern.
But David Stern is
David
old
Stern
hat right now. David Stern is old guard. He's the past. Move on.
I know, but he only but that's why I say
David
he's
Stern.
anti.
David Stern.
Just Michael
David,
Jordan.
David Stern, rest his soul, died in 2020. I think,
Yes.
or 2021, the first few days of 2021. Adam Silver's. Look, it is a new world. I remember being in Mexico last year, and what's that?
Are you ever in the States?
No, I was deported. They found me at a.
He's not allowed. Witness protection will not allow you to come back into the country. Kevin, understand.
Well, I was at a 7-Eleven. I was trying to get some work, some construction work.
Don't make me
And
do it.
no,
Don't make me
this
do
is all serious. And they ran my profile, and they didn't I didn't come up like as I'm a born American citizen, but they recognized that my social media posts and everything else was like left of Michael Moore, and they said, "Get out of here, woke boy! Get out of here! You amateur social justice minister! Get the hell out!
The
We need
other
white
side
people.
of this.
We need white people that think that they've got a bad rub the last 150 years. God damn it!"
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to Three Old White Guys Just Pissing and Moaning. There you go. It's the new show. Well, wait, on
Hey,
a side.
Kev, real quick. Oh, I was going to say, Kevin,
Yeah.
how old are you?
I'm 48. I'll be 48 in July.
So I thought you were like late 30s, early 40s. So
No.
so this is my thing. It is the best thing for the NBA, but it's not the best thing for me. I mean, as I get older, I root for the old guys. I want Steph to get one more.
Yeah.
I want Steph. If LeBron James got one more title just to piss off everybody that
Why?
says Jordan will always be the GOAT. I think it would be so fun.
Oh, Jordan will always be the GOAT. Knock that crap off.
Please, let's not
look
go
at
there. I don't want to go
look at
down
the
this road because
longevity.
this is just such a
All
waste.
right, all right, we won't. All right, go ahead, Ed. I
But
cut.
the,
Ed,
the
I,
other
I,
thing
I,
is, and I,
I took.
I brought this
Go
up
ahead,
earlier.
Ed. Steer us.
It's the players.
Yes.
This era of
Player.
NBA player, younger, more European, more thoughtful
Oh,
of the
boy,
game
here we go.
itself and the people and what the brand is. You don't have, and I mentioned this earlier, the knuckleheads that used to be part of the NBA.
But who are you talking about? Knuckleheads. Give me some
the,
people.
the
Allen
gun-carrying
Iverson.
members of the
Iverson.
NBA, the drug users,
like
the
we're
assaulters,
talking. I mean, you're talking
the
like
physical abusers.
You're talking the aughts. You're talking like the aughts.
But
Maybe
that's my
Rasheed
point.
Wallace, the Jailblazers. That was like
Gilbert
20 years
Arenas.
ago.
But
they
no,
haven't
it-
had.
it- but
they
the
haven't
aura
had. I mean,
sits.
there's a look. John Morant's a knucklehead. John Morant's
He
a
is an absolute
knucklehead.
knucklehead.
If they had
Agreed,
10 more of those
100%.
guys, the NBA would be a lot less likable, and not because he's got cornrows, not because
Well, but
he's
that's it. That's
he
my point,
projects
Mike.
a
The
street
NBA player
attitude.
is more
It's because
likable.
you can't play. It's because you're an idiot when you play around with guns in this day and age. But I think the NBA is like, since Steph won the title in 2015, that whole team's like full of good dudes.
But that's
and
my
I think
point. That's my point.
So I mean,
Because
the
you and I-
NBA's
because
had
we all
the
know
NBA's had
that
a bunch.
idea
The
sits there for a
NBA's had
while.
models. The NBA's had model citizens for a long time.
But the
LeBron
perception
James,
still lasts
even though he
from the
pissed
past.
people off with the decision, LeBron James, even though he pissed people off with the decision, has never had a freaking traffic ticket.
Perception
I mean, the guy is
lasts a
unbelievable.
long time. Perception lasts years and decades, and
Well,
that's
Ed
my
doesn't.
point. We've reached the time where the NBA
Okay.
is filled with likable players now. They understand their value. They understand that they don't need to get
Yeah.
in trouble. They understand that they don't need to do stupid shit just because they're professional and they have money. They are into the game. They're more into social media. They're more into their brand. And that has helped the NBA and that has helped the sport in itself. It's a better player. They're more into what makes, not just for a good game on the court, but good people off the court. I think that's
They're into
part of
fan
it.
engagement.
That's all, folks.